Uh,
Hey everybody! So I wanted to come live again. I just want to try to put this in gallery view. I wanted to come live, not live. I wanted to decided to do another interview with Angie because the first one we put on Facebook, all kinds of crazy things went wrong. I feel like Facebook changes every single day, but I promised everybody this interview, so I wanted to make sure that I did a great job with it. So welcome to my first edition of Live with Laura. And my goal for this is to bring women into the spotlight who've done incredible things. Normal women, incredible things, real lives, real stories. So it naturally came to me last week that Angie had to be my first person that I interview because I know Angie as she's Angie. And Angie went and ran a 50K this weekend, and I think that's insane. So what I really wanted to do is I wanted to hear, now 50K running, which is 31 miles, is that right? 31 miles. And I really wanted everybody to hear about her journey. So Angie, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a mom who lives in Natick with 3 kids. Tell us how old your kids are, what you do.
I have 3 kids, 8, 10, and 13, almost 11 tomorrow. I live in Natick. I work with Laura. I have a virtual isogenics franchise. So I provide people with nutrition solutions. And prior to that, I was a software trainer and I was a hairdresser long before that. So I'm busy. I'm mostly, working during the day. And then when the kids get off the bus at like 2:30, I go into like full on Uber mom mode.
Totally get it. It's my life. One has a driver's license now, though. Tell us, when did you start running? Is running something you've always done or just pick it up last year? Tell us a little bit about your running journey.
So funny. I always say I haven't always been a runner, but I started when I was 24 and I'm about 44 now. So I'm tipping the scale towards I've been running my whole life. But I was not like a college athlete. I wasn't a high school athlete. I just started running. I was working part-time in a hair salon in Springfield. Eileen's at Gasoline Alley. And I remember Eileen told me how her sister and her friend, they ran marathons and they did sprint triathlons. And I just thought, ooh, I want to do that. Like, that sounds really fun. And they met at the park right near my house and did their runs. So that's I just was like, I like these women and they were running. And so I decided to just start running with them. It was very social.
Was running more for exercise? And it was social. Was it more exercise? Was it more mental? Some people feel that they clear their head when they run. I just think about how everything hurts. What's it like for you?
Definitely mental. So yeah, totally mental. Like I said, it's always been very social. I like to get up early in the morning and it's always been fun to like wake up in the morning and meet a group of people and go for a run. And then I also do like to run alone a lot and just like zone out from everything. So I love to like get the endorphins going and the adrenaline going and just blast music and check out a little bit.
I love that. Tell me, how do you cross train? Because do you run all the time? Like, are you running 5 days a week? Because that would just kill my knees.
No, so I cross train a lot. So like I said, I was fortunate that when I started running, I did sprint triathlons. So we would run, bike, and swim a lot in like one day. And so as I've, kind of evolved, I've really focused a lot on cross training. Now I do Orange Theory a couple days a week. And I only run like two days a week on usually, sometimes 3, but I really don't run more than that. I'm not putting in like 70 miles a week at all because I don't like it that much. Like I would get sick of it. I would get bored. And like physically, I want to be doing this for a long time and it's very hard on your body. So that's another, like I got off the road and onto trails for that reason too.
I think that's such a key thing that you said. It can be so hard on your body. So you've learned how to adapt something that you love and turned it into something that you can do for a long time, which I feel like a lot of people at our age are doing that. And it just makes sense. Like, I know that I always want to be physically active. So I had to stop the intensity of things I was doing because it just made no sense.
Yeah.
It's so much more listening to your body and fueling your body. And while we're on that, how do you fuel yourself? If you're going to be out there running for 8 hours and you're going to be doing all this training, what's your key to success with fueling?
So Laura, and I have definitely talked about this before, because in the past I've read a lot of articles that talk about women getting injured because they're restricting calories too much when they're running. So, and any woman who's trained for a marathon, this is not true for men. I'm not going to get into the science of why, but we don't lose weight when we train for these long distances. It's not enough like interval cardio. It's just too much steady. And so you can't, as much as you ran like for 3 hours, you want to eat a million things, you really can't. Like you kind of have to have a diet that is steady throughout, or at least I do. I do better when I just have a nice, healthy, solid diet and I'm not like dipping and I'm not starving myself and overeating. I'm just consistent. And that, I think, we're both partners with Isogenics. That's been like the best part about that, is that it's more healthy, consistent, fueling your body. And then as far as fueling my body for the race, I'll be honest, it's still a work in progress. Like what I did worked really well during the race that I just did. But I don't know, like, and when I say it's a work in progress, I mean, like, I didn't like squirting the almond butter out of the thing because it spilled on me and it was gross when I was running. Like, it's a lot of trial and error. And when you do these huge, long races that you train for a long time for, it's not like you can try constantly. Like, it's hard to try it to get into that setting. So I think it'll be something that over time, I'm going to have to really work it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Tell me, what is your best, since you've been running for like 20 years, we just talked about, what's your best memory? It could be like, for me, it'd be like the first time I ran a mile, or it could be, I don't know. Tell me your best memory that will always stay. Was it finishing the 50K? Because I think that's pretty cool.
Well, finishing the 50K was pretty darn cool, I will say. But I have to say, I think the most like grand, awesome, amazing running experience was finishing Boston, and specifically the Boston Marathon, turning the corner onto Boylston Street and seeing crowds of people like 6 and 7 deep screaming and like running through that tunnel. And like, you just hear I actually saw my dad, which was so random, but I spotted him in the crowd, and going through that finish line was the closest thing I will ever feel to being a professional athlete. Like, it was amazing. And the sharp contrast, which I've told Laura about, is finishing the 50K. Like, I came around the corner and there's like 4 guys there, and they're like, and the funniest thing, any runner will appreciate this, I couldn't even see the clock. Like, the sun was on it and you couldn't even see the time you finished. Now, runners are pretty like obsessed with time, and trail runners are not as obsessed with time. You couldn't even tell what time we finished. But that was like a sharp contrast, because that was like, okay, like, Angie, you did this. Like, this is you. Like, you have to be proud for you. And this is not about like a bunch of people cheering you on. This is like truly like when you're running for 8 hours, you don't have crowds lining the streets for you.
I mean, it's got to be a mental thing, because you're in your head for so many hours. I mean, Angie told me, I said, well, what do you listen to? She's like, well, nothing, because my phone will die. And I'm like, oh my God, that's insane. So it's definitely a mental game. And I just think it's absolutely incredible what you have accomplished, that you can say that even if, you never do one again, you could say, I'm an ultra marathoner.
Yep.
No one knows you ran 30, not 100 miles. I don't know. To me, you're like a running god. On that, what's next for you?
So I think I've been thinking about it. I think another 50K. I think I'm going to stay at this distance. I think I'll do one in the spring, maybe one in the fall, and just hang out here for a little while and kind of master it. I can't imagine doing a 50-mile race, although never say never. Like, I know me well enough to know I'm only 44 years old, and I know I'm going to do a couple of these 50Ks and then be like, somebody's going to say, you could do it. And I'm going to be like, okay, like a fool, but not anytime soon. I don't see that happening. I think I'm just going to hang here. I'm doing a 10-mile trail run October 28th. And I'm just going to hang here for a while and like kind of see how I feel and like challenge myself in this like little area and enjoy it.
I agree. I think it's amazing. And I'm so glad that we were able to sit down together and, getting more women that I can hear their stories. I mean, definitely ordinary women. I want to hear their real stories, real life. Angi MacDonnell, I'm so excited that we got to sit down today, and go take a rest day. Go enjoy yourself. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye, Laura.
Bye-bye.